Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I dyed this 613 lace frontal wig into a rose gold color. Here I'm just showing you guys that I sprayed the knots on my lace frontal wig so that the dye wouldn't stain the lace. I'm taking the colors from a door. I'm using 2 bottles of cotton candy and 1 bottle of cinnamon. So now I'm just adding the dye to the bowl. I was being a little cautious because I didn't want the pink to overtake the wig, because my client wanted a more honey brown look to her rose gold instead of a super bright pink. Honestly, y'all really don't need to even buy 2 bottles of dye. I don't know why I did, because I only used half of the first bottle, and you really don't need that much brown hair dye to use. Now I'm just taking a test strand piece to see what the color is looking like, and this is when I realized there was no color payoff, so I had to stop being shy with the dye and go full in. So now I'm just adding a lot more dye than what I started with. It is super important that you're mixing the dye thoroughly in the water. If you don't mix the dye completely in the water, it will leave stains all on your unit. You will have spots and it won't be blended at all. So please mix the dye thoroughly in the water. Now I'm just taking another test strand and I'm finally seeing some color payoff. So now it's time to dump the wig into the water. You want to make sure that the wig is getting completely submerged into the water. You want to make sure that every strand of hair is taking the color. So now I'm just dipping the hair in and out of the water to make sure that everything is getting covered. So this is the color I achieved after my first round of watercoloring. I am going to do an additional round. Okay, so for this round, I'm adding more cinnamon than the cotton candy because, as I stated before, my client really didn't want a super pink rose gold. She wanted a more mellow tone one. Okay, so as you can see from the last clip, that was my second round. That's where I should have stopped. So now I did another round. So this is my third round. I should have just not even did this again. The hair was the perfect color. This is where I messed it up. So unfortunately, I didn't film how I fixed the problem because at first I was panicking. I was like, what to do? But I remember watching another video and somebody said they used dish detergent to lighten their units after making their hair too dark from dyeing or watercoloring, however they colored their hair. So I washed the unit in the dish detergent and I let that sit for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then when I rinsed it out, the color was a nice light color. This is the color that it turned after I did it for the third round. So this is the color I finally got the wig to after leaving the dish detergent on for 2 to 3 minutes. And I know you really can't see the real color right now, but at the end you'll see it, and when I bring it up close you'll see it. So right now I'm just blow drying it dry, making sure there's no tangles, and getting ready to start customizing. Okay, so this is the hair, freshly blow dried. I'm just going to create a part in the middle because my client wanted a middle part. I'm going to start molding that down with my Water Body mousse. After setting the part, I began plucking, and this was quite a long process, so I'm going to just speed this up. Okay, so this is the hairline up close after I finished plucking. Everything's looking nice and natural. Okay, hairline. Now I'm just hot combing to see how everything will lay once it gets on my client's head. Making sure I plucked enough, just making sure that everything is looking exactly how I want it to look. My client wanted her hair straightened, so I'm just going ahead and straightening everything and getting it nice and flat. Okay, so everything's finished straightening. I'm just going over everything with my hot comb and my straightener to make sure there's no flyaways and it's as straight as possible. Okay, so now I'm molding down the hairs I want to use for the baby hairs. I just sectioned out the pieces and where I wanted my swoops to be, and I'm making sure all the hairs come back and out of the way. I'm just using mousse to make sure everything is in place and where I want it to lay. So now I'm just using a wax strip to tie the hair down. So now I'm just using a blow dryer to make sure that the hair is really molded into place. So now I'm just going to take my hot comb and really press everything out. Make sure that everything is really laid. Okay, so now it's time for the baby hairs. Now, I'm not the best at doing baby hairs, but we're still learning, and all I was doing was just using the smooth and swoop method. I was struggling at first, but I really like how they came out in the end, and they looked really natural and really neat. Okay, so these are what the edges are looking like right now with just mousse. I'll be taking this edge booster to further set them. The mousse is a great starting point for baby hairs. Most people can just use mousse, but when you're just starting out, you may want something with a little hold. So I like to take just a little bit of edge booster. You really don't need a lot. You don't want to create all this buildup on the hairline already. So I just took a small amount and I used that to really set the baby hairs in place. And of course, I had to whip my hot comb out one more time to make sure that everything was pushed back, the baby hairs were showing, everything was flat. And boom, there she is, there she goes. I would like to thank everyone for tuning into my video to see how I got this rose gold custom color unit. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what other colors you want to see me do on this channel.